It's that time of the year. Let's get outside, pull some weeds, get the sprinklers going, have some laughs, get out on the mountain bike trails. And today we're at my buddy Wesley's house getting his sprinkler started up with a filter on the main line. So we're going to walk you through that. So let's get started. First, locate your mainline filter, which might be in a box like this one. We'll want to unscrew the top off and remove the filter out from within. Here we have tons of iron deposits on this one, so we're going to take it inside and clean it off and scrub it down really well. Here we first scrubbed it with the old toothbrush and hot water, and then we added some toothpaste to work on the iron deposits. Then we also had this little concoction of cream of tartar and peroxide that we mixed together to try to get all the iron deposits off the filter. So just make sure you go inside the filter as well to kind of loosen up all the debris and get it as clean as possible. Then just rinse it off and you should be good to go. It's not going to be perfect. Like in this one, there were certain spots with the iron deposits that just wouldn't come off, so that should be fine. The mesh is still good, it's clean, no holes, so we should be good to go. We'll reinstall it and just make sure the O-ring is on the top of the filter when you screw it back on, so that way it doesn't leak, and then just secure that down. After that, we'll want to go over to the sprinkler valve boxes, and wherever there's drip lines, you'll have this filter like this. Just unscrew that filter. This is going to be the best way. Same thing as we did before. It's going to have a filter inside of it, so just rinse off the sand or debris or dirt that might be stuck on there, as well as the top. Once you have that all clean, then you can just put it back in like that, and just secure it back in there as like we had it, and just make sure it's nice and tight on there. So after that, you'll just want to make sure all the valves are shut off, the solenoids right there, the little silos on top. Just turn those right, make sure those are shut off, so that way there's not any water flowing to the different zones. Then locate your stop and waste shut off. It's going to be by the water meter. Here we have a secondary water, and we'll just remove this bolt to get to the pipe that leads down to the shut off stop and waste. It'll help if you have a flashlight to be able to look down the hole, see the orientation of the stop and waste. Here they have an extension, so you don't have to go all the way down 3 feet to get to the stop and waste. So you just have to go down a foot or foot and a half to get this to this extension. Just take your stop and waste key and fit it over the top of it like that. And then you won't open it up all the way. You'll just gradually open it slowly to let the water start flowing. So probably like 1/8 of a turn, 1/4 is fully open. So you'll hear the water start flowing as soon as you start opening it up. So we'll just let it pressurize all the way to the valves, and then once it's slowly pressurized, then I will turn it the full quarter turn open to the left, and then the water, you won't hear the water flowing anymore. The valve will be wide open and we're good to go. If you want to see if it's flowing, just open up that filter and you got water flowing. So now we'll go back over to the valves. So open up all the hose bibs. Just let any of the trapped air get out of that way, flush it out a little bit. And then if you want to do it flushing the drip line filters instead of taking them out, you can do it this way. But if you're going to turn them on manually, you're going to get a little wet here. So check this out. And there she flows. So just a quick geyser flushes out any debris in the filter without having to take it out. That's kind of what it looks like from a different angle, doing it on a different one. And then just make sure when you put that cap back on, it has that rubber gasket put back in there. That's what the gasket looks like. Don't lose that, otherwise it'll start leaking. Put it back in there and screw it on tight. And then those drip line zones should be good to go. We'll show you another way of doing it later on. Now we'll turn on the first zone of the lawn area, and this is the actual time that it takes to pressurize that line when it's empty. And then your heads will pop up. Check all the heads and make sure they're looking good. For the drip line, we turn on the drip line here. We found that there is a break, but it really wasn't a break. It was just one of the emitters had gotten pulled out of that. So somebody must have tripped over, or kids were playing. So this one, after you turn off the drip line, then you can just push it back in there and hear it click into that drip line, and you're good to go. Then you just go around, find any emitters that you can see, make sure they're flowing while the zone's going after you turn it back on. And that way you can just make sure everything is functioning properly for the drip lines. So that's it for this zone. We'll put the box top back on and the hose bib as well, and we'll move on to the next zone. So going on to the next one, you can just turn them on by hand, quarter turn with, manually. Of course, you can do the same thing with your clock, or if you have a Wi-Fi, you can do it remotely from your phone. And these ones are rotor heads. We'll go over the difference between rotor heads and pop-up heads in another video, so check out that one. And everything's functioning well here, so we'll turn back off the valves and move on to the next one. Yep, just quarter turn those zones on, go through each one, and make sure they're spraying correctly. You might need to make adjustments to make sure they're like they're supposed to be to get the correct coverage. The downfall of turning them on manually is you might get wet with some of the sprinklers as they rotate. But just use the clock or do it on your phone if you have that capabilities, and then you don't have to worry about that. But this is kind of the simple, straightforward way of doing it. And here's some more pop-up heads, but this one's functioning properly, but you'll probably know some other ones that might be clogged, might need new filters. We can go over different possibilities of how to fix these sprinkler heads like this one that's not spraying correctly. Here's the other way of flushing the filters for the drip lines. After you've turned on the drip line, then you can just take off that top, and it's a slow flow. It probably won't be flushing it as well as the other options, but it's another option for you if you don't want to get too crazy. And then that's it. We'll just take out the stop and waste key, make sure you don't get any rocks in that pipe going down to the stop and waste, and then just secure it back with the bolt or whatever you have. If you have a different setup, check out our other video for sprinkler startups with the backflow preventer. You're done. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Let us know if it was helpful or if you have any other questions. We'll catch you in the next one.